Howdy everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to the channel. So a couple days ago we posted our EDC, right? So EDC is everyday carry. This is a term that's usually applied to like bushcraft and things like that, where like whether you're carrying a knife on you, rope, flashlights, utility tools. Like if you're out in the wild, what do you need to survive, right? Well, let's say we're out in the wild. We're out walking the streets. We're looking for spectators, looking for people to do some magic, right? Now, one of the things that I was carrying was the juggling balls, right? Because that's what we're going to do. For this particular series, we're just going to break down everything that I was using in that video, and we're going to talk about all the things that I could do with each of those props. So I wanted to start with juggling because juggling is my new current passion, so to speak. It's just a new skill that I'm trying to pick up. So we did a quick little video, juggling in 1 minute. It was quick. We have a book right over here. Let's see if I can get it real quick without dropping any of this other stuff that's here. Here we go. So this came in, there was a box somewhere. Anyway, so I got a box, right? And I got this little book in it, so I went through the book. I haven't learned everything that's in it yet, but I've just been practicing. So what we want to talk about is just something to get you started, right? That's really what we're talking about. This right here, this fills a slot. If you ever play D&D, big D&D fan here, you got slots. Or if you play video games, you have slots, you have backpack slots, but you have pockets, slots. What are you carrying in each of those pockets? And each item is a particular thing that fits that slot. Because, for instance, let's say you have 5 decks of cards on you. Why? What's the purpose of each of those decks? You're not going to be switching out all of them throughout the routine. You're probably going to find yourself, what's your favorite deck? What deck do you like using? What do you want to show off? Are you doing more cardistry-based stuff? Are you doing magic where there's visual stuff? Are you going to do sit-down procedural stuff? What are you doing with your cards? So what decks do you need? Now, most of the time, you just want a standard deck, something you can go down the store. And this is why Theory 11 is really kicking up their game, because you can go down to Walmart and pick up Theory 11. People have access to these now. So when you're doing magic, you don't have to say, oh, nothing suspicious here, because they know there's nothing suspicious because they have access to them. So basically, you can have your standard deck, you can have a trick deck, and just in case you want to do some quick little magic trick there, quick little card trick for you. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. That's a slot. That's a card slot, really, because that's something that's like, okay, well, how many decks of cards do you need on you? At most, maybe 2, maybe 3. I wouldn't go more than that unless that's the type of thing that you're doing. Unless you're specifically demonstrating card skills with different types of decks, different type of gaps, different stacks, different things like that, and they know the premise, because you're basically telling them, you're like, this is what you can do with the tools of the trade. And then you go through your different decks. You do switches. You do all the different things. So in this case, what we have is, I think it's in the bag over here. It's not a bag, actually. It's a, everything's falling down. So basically, we have sponge balls. So you can say that balls of a sort, balls of a sort there. Different assortment of balls. So you have juggling balls, which specifically only tie into the idea of juggling. In this case, you can just quickly just say, I'm going to take this ball right here, and just by shaking it, I can turn it into 2. Or I can simply take this ball, make it disappear. So that has its own standard set of tricks that you can do there. So that's beautiful. Sponges. Oh, man, sponges are great. So many different things you can do with the sponges. You can even say, look at this. I put it into this hand, I reach into this pocket, and I take out a sponge that I've already had prepared into that pocket. And I've made this one disappear. Great, right? I've even taken this one, like go right into my pocket right here. Oh, remember that ball's already gone because I didn't prepare it ahead of time, and it's actually jumped back to this hand. You can do anything. Versatility with that. So right now I'm not really carrying sponges, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to actually be talking about that in another video coming up, because the trick that I want to do with sponges, the reason, as I've said all along, a video that I watched, and I've talked with Doug Kahn recently regarding this, and I finally found it, and I put it into save this time. Save it, because that way you don't lose it again. And he actually sent me in the direction of a similar routine that's basically beat for beat, almost the same deal. You can just change up the ending if you want, or just change how you go about it. That's going to be debuting, because that's going to be my bread and butter, because I love it. It's my absolute favorite trick to see. Anyway, for right now, juggling balls. So we're going on, we're talking about all this stuff, and we could do a full breakdown video of all the things that I was carrying in there. But just know that this particular video is talking about the slot that would be balls. Or let's say a prop that's in the hands that you have multiple, they're similar. Okay, now what we want to talk about, getting into 3 things that you can do with that particular prop. So when we go into talking about cards and coins, and obviously if you have sponge balls, you have these, you got to have 3 different things that you can do, and this could be one of them. This is one thing. Okay, you could do a whole set with cards if you want. You could do a whole set with coins if you want. You could do a whole set with juggling. Okay, so many different options. Okay, but if you're going to build your routine, that book that I was just showing you right here, you mastered. You don't even need to master it really, but if you can get good enough with all the stuff that is in this book, you would have yourself a beautiful starter routine that you could go out and just take it home with, make money. Okay, but I do want to teach a little bit about juggling in this particular video, because in the short video that I did, there was some angling issues, because it was a short video trying to gain your attention and just overall trying to do some greatness there. So we're going to start off with 1 ball. Now we're getting into the teaching portion. If you want to learn some juggling, this is the part, and we're going to go quick, because you can always pause and rewind. So starting with 1 ball. That's it. Just 1 ball. 1 ball in the hand. Okay? This is what's known as tracing. Well, all that's doing is that's getting your arm used to the motion of throwing, and it's getting your eye used to where you want the ball to go. Okay? Now, if you're shoulder width apart, because you got to have good posture, straight back, head straight forward, you don't want to be doing this. Okay, because what's going to happen is you're going to lose track of your hand. See what I just did there? Because I looked up, my natural instinct was to lean back, which caused my hand to come up too far, and then it caused the ball to shift. You want it to stay in this plane right here. So imagine you're on a graph, right? And you're 0. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. It shouldn't go any farther than 2. 1 is really where you want it. So tracing. Okay? Ball goes up. Ball goes up. Once you can do this multiple times without having any major issues, then what you're wanting to do is you want to switch it over to the other hand. Okay? Now we're going to talk about that after we go with the left hand. Now, notice how the left hand is not as stable as the right, because I'm right hand dominant. So I have to practice twice as much, if not more, with my left hand in order to get the same results. Now notice how everything's staying the same. Elbows in, right here, throwing it up. Okay? Now, a good tip that the book points out is that if you find yourself starting to throw forward and leaning into it, and then you feel like you have to walk into it when you don't want to, because you can certainly walk and juggle at the same time. Okay? You can do that, but you don't want to do it unintentionally. So if the ball is getting away from you, let it go. Don't lean into it. Don't try to catch it, because then you're going to start developing, which I know this is the opposite of your normal, right? Because normally when you're doing something, you might want to try to catch it, because if you play any sports, the object is to usually get the ball at any cost. But in this case, you don't want to develop the habit where you're leaning into it. You want to stay in that good posture, and then you can practice walking and sitting and doing all the other stuff later. Now, the reason why we go into this next step with the 1 ball is because this is the arc that you're going to want. Now, there's a lot of other things that we'll get into in other videos as we learn them, But keep in mind that this swooping motion inside your hands is where that's staying. This is the world that you want to control right here. There are two arcs. We're going to talk about tracing. There's two arcs. There's arc number 1 and there's arc number 2. Okay? That's what you want right there. Okay? So just throw up, throw back, throw up, throw back, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch. There you go. Boom, there's one ball down. Now you're thinking, oh, well, I can do that easy. Why don't I just jump right into doing 2 balls? I would advocate staying in this zone until you are comfortable. Not just able to do it, but comfortable. Just stay with it and practice. Practice, practice, practice. It might take you a day. It might take you 2 days. You might want to rush ahead. I would just stay here until you're comfortable. After about 10-15 minutes, take a break. Take a 5-minute break. Walk around. Do whatever. Come back. Do it again. Do it again. Switch to the other hand. Do it here. Develop a rhythm. Do it twice. Throw it back. Twice. Throw it back. Anything you want to do. Keep it up here. See if you can get it at eye level every single time without moving your head. Okay? And keep practicing that and keep practicing that until you're ready for two balls. Look at that. Dropped it right down there. We're going to have to retrieve it for the third one, but we have another ball here. Okay? Magic of television. Now the ball can go up and down in the air with 2 of them. Okay? Remember tracing. We talked about that. Learning the tracing. Now when you're going to throw one, then throw the other one. Okay, is this something you have to do? Not necessarily, but here's what you're looking for. You're looking for the timing of the throw once it gets to about eye level. Because if you do your arc right, in the center is going to be between your eyes. So once it gets to its peak, that's when you're going to want to throw the second ball. Okay, a lot of times when you start to juggle, you think that this is juggling. Now mind you, it looks like that when you do one-handed. Okay, it's going to look like you're throwing around each other. But that's not where you're at here. Where you're at here is you're going to throw one, then the other one. One, then the other one. One, then the other one. So once it's at its peak, you throw the other one. See how it's starting to get away from you now that there's 2 because you have to keep track of them? Stop. If you start to see yourself going forward, just catch them and start again. As you keep going, you'll find that your arms are going to keep moving around. You're going to want to keep locking them in. Just stay in the moment as you're doing this. And keep track of your breathing. Keep track of your arms. And keep track of the balls. Right? So now we're going to retrieve these. Now, as Chris Ramsey once said, if you're not dropping them, then you're not learning. Right? That was with cards. But the same deal applies here. If you're not reaching and trying to do new things while you're doing this, you're probably not going to ever get any better because timing is the biggest thing. Endurance and timing are the 2 things. So here we got 2, right? Now we have 3. Oh man. Now we're already at 3. 3 balls in the air, right? Okay. 2 in one hand, 1 in the other. Simply as can go, you're just going to throw one, then throw the other one. Now that was 3, but that's your 2, right? 1, 2. Now you got to add the third one in there. And just do this. Just throw all 3 and catch them, and then call it good. Okay? And just stay there. Then you can add more until you're ready to go. Then just keep going with it. So the idea, throw 1, throw 2. Now you got to throw 3. And again, I'm staying as even keel as possible in the center. Okay? Now just practice that and practice, practice, practice. Okay? If at any time you feel like you're not getting the right rhythm down, go back to 2. Okay? Because adding that third ball is just a matter. Let me switch to one hand a little bit because that's the next step is going one hand. Okay? Are you going to be able to really get anybody's attention with this? You sure can. You sure can. You can just say, haha. Sam. very keen on juggling, just not worried too much about how many. Nice little joke there, right? Back and forth it goes. Why don't we add another one in there? Okay. You're like, now we've got 2. Maybe even do one of these moves, just cross them over, just do some silly stuff at first. Because you're trying to fill it up, right? Then, you're like, okay, why don't we get a little bit more dangerous? We're going to add a 3rd one in there. Ooh, let's see how long we can go. Luckily that wall was there, that would have been flying all over the place. Very nice. Now here's the setup that I like to go into, okay? Because we're going to go into talking about one-handed. Let's put that down for now. The 2 one-handed things that I do is I do a column or a row, and then I do the circle, okay? And how that looks is like that. All you're doing, you're throwing one up, throw another one up, and then you're coming back to the first one. And then you can keep going. See? Lots of practice here. So basically what that's going to look like with one hand is the first one's going to go up. Then you're going to move over, throw this one up. Come back to this one, throw it up. Come back to this one, throw it up. And again, there's timing into it. There's a lot of... So it's the idea of keeping with time. Now the other one is more like a rolling motion, because you're just going to kind of roll them around each other. The same idea is like throwing it up into the air, okay? Except that happens and they bounce off of each other. Okay? And that's where I'm at right now. Where I'm at is with one-handed. I'm going to find the other one because it just rolled away. Where'd it go? Went way down into the bottom. Nice. So this is what we're talking about there. Okay. Beautiful. So now as far as juggling 1, 2, and 3, you have everything that you need to get started with that. And then if you want to come back for the one-handed juggling, that's great. I'm not quite there with my left hand. See? Dropping them all over the place. Whoa! So I'm at the point now where I'm only looking to get the 1. Remember what we were saying about the 3. So what you throw. I'll get the other one back here. See, now we're entering the realm of where I'm at, which is okay, because that's what we're talking about. I can only teach you as far as I'm at. So just like we had 3, we're going to stop. We're going to stop. Just like we throw one up, catch. That's all we're looking for. All we're looking for is that. The endurance factor. So now we get these up, catch, 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 catch. And then if we want, we can keep going a little bit and see if we can go further. And see, that's the timing. But I've got to get the endurance factor up for my left hand, and I've got to get the timing right for my left hand. And I'm not going to try to move any further with the juggling until I can do that. I will continue to practice 3. Okay, but I'm not going to get any stronger, and I'm not going to get any faster, and I'm not going to be able to go any further until I bring my left hand up to par, because I've reached my limit with it. And that's juggling, right? Now let's talk about a couple of ideas from the book, okay? A couple of ideas from the book is 2 ideas that they offer. 1, I can't do it in here with this setting, but the basic idea is as you're going for your juggle, you take one, you toss it underneath your leg up into the air, and you keep juggling. So under the leg. I can do it with 1 when I'm practicing, but I can't quite add it to the loop yet, so I'm still there with that idea, which is great. You're going hoop, 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 you're doing your 3, hoop, 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 under the leg, hoop, 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 you're doing under the leg, hoop, 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 under the leg. Okay, and you're like, okay, great. And then you want to switch to something like this. Let's see if I can pull it off here. So I switch to 1 hand and then back to 3. And then once I get good enough, I'll be able to do that with my left hand as well. Here we are. Okay. And that'll be good. Great. And then I'll be able to do the finale. Finale of sorts is like, let's say I throw one high up into the air. Okay, that one goes up. And then I'm back down to here. I drop these into here as I come down for a bow, right? And I catch it on the back of my neck. That'll be a finisher, right? Because that's how it usually works. You want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So the beginning will be the joke of starting off with 1. Then we're getting a little bit more difficult. We're adding 2. Then you're doing 3. Oh no! Act like it's a challenge, because it is. It is a challenge. And then I start doing boop under the leg. It's not as hard as I make it look. And then I start switching, doing one hand and then the other hand. And then once I'm reaching the crescendo, I throw 1 up into the air. See the timing on that? So the timing would be, let's see if I can. Nope, I'm just not there yet. But 1 goes up in the air. These go into the pocket as this comes down for the catch. And that's my idea for that. But anyway, so that would be a juggling routine. And we'll talk about that more as I get into it. But that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the things that you can do with each of these items. And that's great. So we might even be talking about more of this stuff on a live. We're going to try to go live probably this week, just because we haven't gone live in a while, and we have, well, we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys enjoy this new series where we deep dive into the stuff that we're carrying, and we give you some ideas on what you can do with those particular items. Remember, 1, 2, 3. That's how we're going to break it down. 1, 2, 3. Each thing that we do, we're going to try to teach you 3 different setups, 3 different phases, if you will, and then we're going to do 3 different things all together. So we do 3 different phases with juggling. We do 3 different phases with cards. We do 3 different phases with coins. That's 9 phases. And let's take a look here. Let's do a timer. I have a phone. And we're going to go through what I just did again real quick. Of course, I can't finish it because I don't have the finisher. But we're going to see how long it takes. Let's go ahead with the stopwatch and go. Howdy, everybody out there. Today we're going to be doing some juggling. Haha, I am potentially a master juggler with just the 1 ball, Doesn't matter so much how many there are, just as long as I've got 1. You know what? Why don't we speed this up a little bit and go with 2? Because 2 is a little bit spectacular. Let's see if we can even go under the leg, if we have enough room in here to do so. Under the leg. Oof, wearing jeans today. So went under the leg. Let's see if we can do under the leg the other way. Oof, the ball flies over there. Oof. Now you're probably wondering why I dropped that. So am I. If you know, you know. That's a line I looked at. That guy's great. That guy is great. Anyway, let's go ahead with 3, shall we? Whew. Let's try again. Some people could do this all day. I'm not one of them. Sometimes what ends up happening is you just end up one hand gets tired, so you got to switch to the other one. Whew. Here we go, down there. And then we go for the finale, right? The finale, which is maybe even like getting rid of the balls as we go. So maybe 1 goes into the pocket as this one comes back down. This one goes into the pocket, and then it goes up into the air. And we try to catch it. I didn't bend over far enough. And that would be the finale. And that's 1:30. So that's 1:30 just as a rough idea. And that wasn't even talking to the audience. That wasn't even messing around. That wasn't, I dropped it a couple times. But 1:30. This routine should probably be closer to 5. So that's kind of my idea. Each routine of my level, which is, medium, low to medium, maybe 5 minutes for my routines would probably be a strong, solid thing. And there we have it. There is our juggling balls, the things that we're carrying right now. Stay tuned next time because we will have more absolutely fantastic magic props coming your way from our everyday carry. Thank you, everybody, and always remember, stay positive, stay active, and stay awesome. And we'll see you in the next one.